Testing, testing, testing. What's up? We should be live. Today we're gonna talk a little. Today I'm gonna try to bring a little fresh air, um, and talk a little bit about the real world, and the difference between the real world and the underworld, and things like that. The stream might be a little off, but yeah, we here on location here at our facility here at 5,000 Elite Universal Media, so forth, so forth. We're here at location, um, and we've been here for going on our second year, and so that's kind of a good thing. First off, let me give all the shout outs to everybody, the 5,000 Elite, everybody participating. Give a shout out to everybody. Um, I, I try to be here at least once a month, but last month I couldn't make it. That was my goal to try to at least do at least one video a month. I couldn't make it last month, um, but I'm here right now. So, so shout out to everybody, man. You know, I know, a lot of people is a little confused or whatever, don't understand, but we still here. Your money is still refundable or anything like that. So, there's no, we don't, I don't need, you know, take anybody's money or anything like that. I'm not sure about what people's been hearing, but I'm pretty sure people been hearing stuff. But I want to get straight to the point because I want to get to the real world. But let's get to shout outs. Let's give a shout out to the brother LaDamian. You know what I'm saying? One of the members of the Fat Thousand League actually showed up, pulled up on location. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the brother, pulled up a little bit ago. And I definitely liked it that brother, from the 5,000 League showed up on location, get to see the spot, get to check out and get to see firsthand, where the little donations been going and what the little things we've been doing, brother were able to see that firsthand. And so shout out to that brother. Um, Also, as people know, most people know we got Universal Media up and running. Some people don't know what it is, but it's up and running. But it's only a wing of Universal Media. Most people don't know that either. Most people think Universal Media is an app or is, a little TV service, but that's a part of Universal Media. And so as I be busy working on my software, doing what I'm doing, being Jordan where I'm Jordan at, and trying my and struggling where I'm Muggsy Bogues at. But it's all good. So shout out to them. But today we're going to talk a little bit about the real world and the underworld, because it's it's a little confusion, and I know sometimes it's very difficult, in these difficult times, to distinguish which one's the real world and which one's the underworld. And so I come from the real world, you know, and that's and in the underworld, and I know a lot of people come from that underworld, and I know a lot of people is in that underworld, and I know a lot of people they just find it entertaining. I mean, they got their little stuff going and they just find it entertaining, and so they just hang around just for entertainment purposes. But coming from the real world, digital is logical in the real world. It is an open panel, so if anybody got questions or anything, please, if you're a member of the 5,000 Elite, if you're not a member of the 5,000 Elite, uh, please don't come in messing with our show and talking about aliens or enemies or any weirdo shit. Please, let's keep it, uh, you know, 5,000 Elite, things like that. So if anybody got any questions or anything, the link is in there. My phone number is still the same, address still the same, email still the same, everything's still the same. Nothing's changed. But on when it comes to contact, so that's the same. So yeah, so I'm coming from the real world, and I'm pretty sure digital is logical where I come from and where I'm at. Digital is logical. Like, you have to think about things before you believe them, and your logic, is very important to you. And your logic tells you if you know a person's logic, you pretty much get anything about them. Now, if you know the logic of how the underworld works, then if you inject anything that makes logical sense in their logic, they will believe it just like that. Because you know, and it's kind of hard to deal with, but it's not our problem. We're going into another stage, and we're going into another world, more of an upper class real world. We're in more of like a middle class area, but we're now finna go in more of an upper echelon type of area. Now the upper echelon type of area, I don't even consider that the real world, but to some people it is the real world. The real world is where, us middle class people, and how we get together, and how we and as we journey from middle class to upper class, that journey right there is the real world. Now, as you in the lower world and the underworld, you get stuck there. You don't know what's going on in the real world. Now, once you hit a certain amount of mark, and I know this by my sister, because my sister is in more of an upper class world. Now, these are upper class people that, these people got money. And so they, money is nothing to them. They can travel anywhere they go. They can do anything they want. They can have, they can have you kidnapped. They can do anything they want. So when you go into that world, I don't consider that the real world either, because those are where most of the high and privilege and stuff like that. People can afford to be prejudiced. They can afford to not shake your hand. They can afford to not buy, your products and things like that, in that upper world. And we are now taking a journey, and we're now finna go into that more upper class world. And it's new to me, because as a teenager, I've been to the underworld, and parts of my character, part of my characteristics is underworld like crazy. But I'm so real world that, I yeah, it's just natural. The real world is natural to me. And so as we journey to that upper class world, it's going to be a struggle. And the people in the underworld, they're going to take whatever they hear, and they're going to take it and run with it. And it doesn't matter if it's true or not, as long as it have underworld logic, they don't care. Like, you got people going around saying, oh yeah, Tadata's wife is Chinese and all this. My wife is not even Chinese. So whoever told these people that, or where do they get that stuff from, I'm not sure. But I'm pretty sure it makes sense to people in the underworld, because Tad Data talk about China, and he worked with Chinese people, and so his wife being Chinese is not a far stretch, but it's not true though. You know what I'm saying? She's no more than a Chinese than you is a Somalian, or Nigerian or some shit, or you know what I'm saying. So uh, but as long as it makes sense, but. So also, I got to give a shout out to Chief Oyemiya. Chief Oyemiya. Those y'all who don't know her, she's one of them old, them old mean ass grandmas from the South that pinch the shit out you in your rib right there. You acting up at church or something, and cuss you out, and then tell you to wash your hands and go make you some cookies or something. So she finally got her Universal Media box, and she called me up the other day. Because she's unlocked now. She's she's an elder from the South now. She just got unlocked. She called me up the other day, and she like, oh man, I was watching some of these channels in England or France or something, one of these little channels over there, and she was like, oh man, they talk about America like a dog. She was like, man, they was talking about us, and I'm like, that's you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised when you're watching other countries, and when you seeing what they doing, how America's blowing up their churches and shooting up birthday parties and things like that. You would get more of a worldwide concept of what the real world's like, when you're able to expand your mind and unlock the universe pretty much. And and I thought that was pretty cool, because to me, I'm used to it. I already know that these countries and stuff don't like it, but most people who's domesticated inside America, they think America is heaven. and everybody else is the boogeyman. China's coming to get us, Russia's coming to get us, the communists is doing this and doing that. But when you go over to their countries, who do you think the boogeyman is over there? Oh, they blowing up our churches and then blah 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 blah. So it's a little trade off and it's something. So that was pretty cool. And then you know, and but anyway, let's go ahead and get in. Let's get out. So I want to introduce the people to the real world, and so because when you coming up, and a lot of people come from the underworld. A lot of those people, they come from prison, and they used to they used to living in a living in a cage environment. I mean, I don't mean no disrespect, but I want to put some emphasis on it. But it's kind of like rats and roaches. They kind of live in those type of environments, and so when they come out, a lot of them like to live in the creeps and crannies of the world and little underworlds, and they don't never really do anything. They say, well, we woke, but we ain't moving. That means you're what do they call them, paraplegic, or some type of person that think they can't move, paralyzed person or something. You're moving. I'm saying, and so shout out, we got Reggie Green in the building. Shout out to Reggie Green in a minute. How you doing, man? We out here. Hopefully you got your email. There was a little structure change in the 5,000 Elite a little bit. So we talked about that, and we still out here, man. We ain't going nowhere. We still out here. But that's kind of how the underworld works. And so these people that kind of, live in the underworld and the underbelly, they don't never really have to come up to the real world and do anything real, because they got it down packed how to live to the underworld. Now, the goal is to keep guys like Reginald Green in the underworld, because I need to feed off his energy. I need him to pay me. I need to eat and things like that. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but what I'm saying is that you need to be cognizant of that. Because even when I was speaking to my brother LaDamian, he's a brother from Louisiana. This brother's unlocked as hell. He speaks Choctaw languages. He speaks Spanish. And, he's a very, diverse type of dude, unlocked type of dude. And then he traveled, he's been in different states and stuff like that. And so, even he told me, he was like, yeah, man, I like this stuff. He was like, man, this stuff is entertainment to me. He was like, man, I know what's going on. He was like, man, I donate, I buy t-shirts, I do Patreon. He support brothers in the underworld. And so do a lot of us. But the thing is that we know the difference. We know that, okay, that's the underworld. Like, that's not the real world. Like, we know the difference between the real world and the underworld, even though we support the brothers, even though we buy a t-shirt, we help brothers out. We know the difference, And so now, the reason why this is important is because as you grow and as you grow your business and as you try to do something, eventually you're going to need some help. And when it's time for you to get some help, the underworld people is not going to be any help to you. They're not going to be any help to you. And then this is where you're going to have to go, and you're going to have to go over to Asia. You're going to have to go over to Europe. You're going to have to go to Africa. You're going to have to deal with some foreigners in order to get some help, because the people in the underworld, they're not going to help you. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you say. These dudes is not going to help you. Okay? They're not going to help you. So you're going to have to go out if you're doing something. Now, if you're just sitting back, collecting a little check, or just doing what you're doing in the underworld, you ain't got to worry about nothing I'm about to say, because it doesn't concern you, because you can live people live their whole entire life in the underworld, not really never doing anything grand, or not really ever trying anything, or just skating and slivering by life. But the second you try to get your own little shoe company, the second you try to get your own little, manufacturing plant, the second you try to get your own little clothing line, the second you try to get your own, spices, or your own little restaurant, you're going to need some help. And you're going to find out that a lot of people around you Some of them just don't know how to help. Some of them can't help. And some of them just don't want to. And you can come up with every excuse in the world, but as you younger people and even some of you elder people, as your business grow, you're gonna need help. Now, in my case, I'm gonna use me for an example. Now, in my case, just let's just say, with the 5,000 Elite, we tech, so we do a lot of tech stuff. Now, I done help a lot of people, and as I should. I shouldn't be praised. I shouldn't be thumbs up. You're doing what you're supposed to do is not a hero. Okay. So I'm no hero. So anybody to say, oh man, we appreciate you, Ty Data, all this, all that. Man, Ty Data's doing what the fuck he's supposed to be doing. He's supposed to be helping these sisters out here trying to get stuff. He's supposed to be helping these brothers out here. He ain't nothing special about that. Okay. In the real world, it's not. Now, maybe in the underworld, brothers helping, doing things. Maybe that's rare and things like that. But in the real world, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. So I'm nobody special, at least when it comes to that. Now, when you're dealing with tech, I need help too. Okay. I don't know everything. I need help too. Okay. I'm a software computer repairer. As you can see in the shop, we got computer parts, computer this everywhere. I'm a computer hardware and software repair guy. That doesn't mean I also do software developing, the front end, the middle, and I do very little script. Okay, I don't do a lot of script. Like my script is like, you remember when you were younger, you knew all the Spanish cussing words and you knew how to count to 10 and you can say little sentences in Spanish. That's how my script is. Writing code. It's like that. I understand it. I know it when I hear it and things like that. But I'm not an on the fly dude. I can't look at a script and be like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? Just sit there and just blah, 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 blah. I'm not like that. So I need help too sometimes. But when I need help, who I'm going to call? See, when I need help, I got to go to China to get it. I got to go to Pakistan to get it. I got to go to Morocco to get it. I got to go to India to get it. Because the people around me, they can't help me. And some of them don't want to, some of them don't know how, some of them just have no interest, and some of them just plain haters. And so you're going to come into that problem as your business grow, and so this is the purpose of a network. Now, the purpose of a network is to have people, especially in the tech world, that you can bounce ideas off of. Now, this will literally pay you money. Bouncing ideas actually save money. I'll give you a scenario, like a real scenario. Now, when you making something, like as I'm making this software, at some point in time, I might come into an area, whether it's cybersecurity or whether it's something like that, where that's just not my thing. And so it helps to be able to surround yourself with different types of people. So that way you can call them up. It will save you money. So I can call up a guy, like real scenario. I called up a guy in Morocco. Now I'm a technical guy and he's a technical guy. So if tech guys don't know you're not tech, they will make things seem so difficult and so hard. Like the dude that tried to charge me $30,000 for the Lakeisha app when he didn't realize he was talking to another tech dude. Even though I got some ideas from him and things like that, he tried to charge me 30 stacks and we end up creating that app for $1,500 and some little upgrades and stuff. And so as I need help, I call up somebody. I say, hey man, I'm trying to accomplish this and I'm trying to do this. And I'm giving him my ideas. He giving me what he think. We bouncing ideas off each other. Now this helps. Now, if me and him together can't figure it out, then what I have to do is I have to pay for it. You see, so this is save money when you have people you can help and literally bounce ideas off of. But if all the people around you are just sucking up your energy and sucking up your time, and they're just trying to see what they can get out of you, or just around for entertainment purposes and things like that, you got to get rid of them. Because in the real world, people that's not going to help you eventually, um, eventually, uh, they're just going to be in the way. Now, you still have to help people. That's normal in the real world. If you see somebody struggling and you can do it, help them. So that doesn't say you can't help people, but you have to, at some point, when you're in that developing mode, and when you're kicking in, if you're a chef or whatever you're doing, when you're in that mode, you're going to need somebody to bounce ideas off of. So me and this guy bouncing ideas off each other. He bringing up ideas, I'm bringing up ideas, and so we pinpointed the problem. And so the problem was nothing but this one little script. And sometimes this script can just be a long number, like a barcode number, or a link or something. And so I can go to another person and say, hey man, can you write this link for me? Can you get this link for me? And they might be like, yeah, give me like $25. I'll write that for you. Because they know, because they know you tech, and they know that, writing that little script or getting that little script ain't going to be too much work. But if I come to them with some functions and I say, hey man, can you help me make this thingy work with this thingy? They're going to be like, yeah, man, that's going to be about $600. You see what I'm saying? When all you really got to do is say, hey man, can you write this little script and connect it to this script? And I'm having a little trouble with this part. They'll just charge you $25. And so this is how the tech world is. And so when we want help, they not there. Nobody's there. You see, and you're going to find that out as you grow your business, as you grow your company. These underworld brothers is not going to be there, and they're not going to help you, and they're not going to want to help you. And a lot of them can't help you. So you're going to have to reach out to different foreigners. You're going to have to reach out. Now, this is real world, real life stuff. Now, those, like I say, those of you who live in the underbelly and the underworld, and you sliver around city to city and doing whatever ins and out jobs you got to do for the rest of your life, you guys can afford to do and talk all weird and be all weird. You guys can afford to have tattoos on your face, and you guys can afford that. But those of us out here in the real world, we be needing help. And it's hard when like your own people don't really understand you. It's like you speaking another language or something. And it's like, I'm in the real world. But this is how you can tell if you're living in the real world or not. Now, in the real world, they say it's about 7 billion people on the planet. And I believe it's between 14. I doubled it just because I'm a weirdo like that. Anywhere from 14 billion to 7 billion people. Now, a huge amount of those people are Asian people. A huge amount of those people are African people. And a huge amount is people from Central and South Mexico and Central and South American. And some of those people are European. And then you have your family members. And then you have, brothers and sisters in America. You got people in Australia and things like that. Now, this is the makeup of the real world. Okay, these are people in the real world. You cannot deny that. These are the people that's in the real world. Now, when I take my phone and I look at my phone contacts, okay, those are all the people that's in my phone. My phone reflects the actual world that I'm living in, my phone contacts. Okay. So I have a certain amount of Asians, I have a certain amount of Africans, I have a certain amount of Europeans, I have a certain amount of, family members, a certain amount of, all different countries, all different continents. I don't really have anybody from Australia though. I don't have any Australians or anything in my contacts, or even my contacts, not my social media, because I'm not talking about on Facebook. Or I'm not talking about a subscriber of mine. I'm talking about people I actually can call and have their phone and talk to them on the phone or text them on the phone. Also my WhatsApp too. Well, your WhatsApp is part of your contacts because the contacts go with the WhatsApp. And so if your phone does not look like the real world, then chances are you're living in an underworld. If everybody in your phone act and got the same culture and the same everything as you, the chances are you're not living in the real world, you're living in the underworld. Because in the real world, Asians are out there. In the real world, Europeans are out there. In the real world, Africans are out there, Central and South America, Mexico, all that, they're out there in the real world. And so if they're not in here, then where are you living in? What are you living in? You're living in your own world. You're living in the underbelly. You're living in a domesticated area, you see. And so this is a lot of the things that I try my best to promote here. But sometimes it may come across to people living in the underworld suspicious and, oh man, he worked for like a Chinese government or a spy or some shit. And it's like, well, why the fuck am I here with you weird ass niggas then? You know what I'm saying? Some of you, you know what I'm saying? But it might come across, and the reason why it does that is because because the people in the shadows in the underworld, they need to keep you there. They need to keep you there. So they ain't doing shit. So if they see you doing something and they say, "Oh man, you had a white lady on your on the interview, you had a white cameraman, you had a fucking Asian guy, taking out your garbage and blah blah." Like, bro, that's called the real world, bro. They're out there, bro. Like, they're out there. So what's the deal? They're gonna say, "Oh man, you selling out and blah 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 blah." But then you ask them, "Hey man, well, how about I fire that dude and I pay you to do it?" It's gonna change. Oh well, shit. You see, Craig and them. You see, it changes. And as you grow your business, you're gonna find out every single one of you, especially members of the 5,000 Elite, every single one of you is gonna find out that these people is not gonna be here if you're trying to do something. Listen to what I'm saying. Now, those of you who ain't trying to do nothing, if all you want to do is, hey man, I just want to, get to grow my YouTube channel and, grab some beers and things like that, then you ain't got to worry about it. But I'm telling you, when you're out here, now I know a lot of you from the South, you guys live in places where there's miles and miles and miles and miles and miles and miles and brothers and sisters. Some of you live in the East Coast. Y'all live in towns and cities where there's just miles and miles and miles and miles and brothers and sisters. And so you guys' environment is a little different. You guys' environment don't really reflect, a lot of other places. Because, I'm a type of brother. I know what it's like to go at least 90 days or more without never seeing another brother or sister. Most of you couldn't even fathom that, you see. And so the rules apply to you. We got the brother Balance 444 in the building. What up, bro? You know what I'm saying? Another brother from Michigan. You know what I'm saying? How's the water out there, man? What's going on with the water, bro? We don't hear nothing about it. I check in Detroit news every once in a while, but they don't really talk about it in the news as I see it. And I'm not sure saying you're from Detroit, but I know Detroit and those little areas around Detroit, those of us who's not from there, we just call it Detroit. So you might actually be from a little town called Swansville or some shit. But to me, all that little area is Detroit. So I don't mean no disrespect from that, but yeah, what's going on with the water, man? Because, everybody was so caught up in Donald Trump this and Donald Trump that, and he's going to save us and he's going to do this. And meanwhile, in Flint, Michigan, Donald Trump ain't did nothing about that water, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to you, man. And I know that's a brother right there. He's living in the real world, trying to get himself, together, his little business, his little stuff he trying to do. And he know he got one person that he can call. He know he got a brother he can call if he needs something, Reginald Green do too. No, you got at least one brother out there that if you got a certain type of issue, he'll be right on it. But that's the real world. Look in your phone contacts. If all you got is underworld, just if you ain't got, you know what I'm saying, if you ain't reflecting the real world, then you ain't reflecting the real world. Now, there's nothing wrong with being domesticated. But the thing is, you have to understand that the domesticated world and the underworld is not the real world. Because the real world, everybody's out here. Everybody. When I go out and I'm driving, I see everybody, like the Somalians, Asians, I see everybody. And when you look on the globe, the map, flat earth, upside down earth, you see everybody. So when you look at my phone contacts, you see everybody. That's the real world, you see. And if your contacts does not reflect the real world, I don't mean to bring bad news to you or what type of news it is to you, but chances are you're living in a bubble. And a lot of these dudes out here trying to, do what they got to do. And so I just wanted to say that, to the up and coming business owners out there, to everybody that's struggling with their business and everybody that's trying to do something and they just can't seem to have, the brothers and sisters around them to help them and can't seem to have somebody to call to help them, who can't seem to have a someone to depend on, even a little bit to help them. Don't be afraid to go out there and get you a little Pakistani or something. Don't be afraid to go out there and get you a European or something. Don't be afraid. Don't let these dudes stick you down there. That's the catch. That's how they stick you there. They tell you, oh man, you can't do that. Why not? You niggas ain't helping. So why not? Oh man, you couldn't find nobody. Well, won't you do it? You see? So don't let them stick you down there. And if you and when your business grow, as your business grow, and any successful business person or owner will ever tell you, always going to tell you, hey, you remain neutral. Okay? Remain neutral. Because as you grow, there's going to be more and more people. So so that's all I wanted to say. And we still out here, I gotta say it again. People's money is refundable, just in case people think we ran off or we fucking. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I know the logic. I know the underworld logic, so I know how people think. But I don't want to use this show to like, get too much on it. And so we still out here, y'all. We still rocking. And it's lonely out here, cause ain't no help. Like who I'm gonna call when I need help? Who did Barack Obama call when he needed help? Who did Donald Trump call when he needed help? Whoever you looked up to, whether it's Malcolm X or whatever YouTuber you got, who do they call when they need help? And because I slowly found out that the people that's supposed to be helping you by naturally helping you, let me put that in there. The people that's supposed to naturally help you. Now, if it's on the world natural, because you don't have to, and you ain't got no obligation. It ain't your job. But if it naturally sees somebody trying to do something and it just you naturally want to help, then that's the type of help we're looking for. And that's the type of help you most likely going to get. So don't let these people trick you into staying in their underworld and staying in their little world, because that's what they're going to try to do. Okay. Now I understand the rules may change. If you live in an environment that's different from mine. Okay. Living in an environment that's different from mine. Your rules may change, but it is what it is. And we out here in the real world, and we're about to go up another class, and it's lonely out here because but I'm used to it and I'm built for it. But it is pretty lonely out here when you know all the people you call for help don't speak English, or you kind of get used to it. And what you do is you make the best of it, and you try to learn, you try to teach, and you try to have fun. But in the inside, it's kind of sad because you know, and it's lonely because it would be nice to have you know you know barbershop conversations that turns into real legitimate business conversations. And we started talking about the NFL, and then we end up talking about, or you know going and making a new you know line of clothes or something, or things like that. That would be kind of fun. But instead it's like straight to the point robot. What you need, what you got, this is what I need, this is what I got, blah 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 blah, keep it moving. Now that's good and that's healthy. But as you grow, as you grow, you miss. Um, as you grow, and as go to a higher uh, class, um, you appreciate stuff like that. Peace, how you doing? Peace, how you doing? We got Southwind in the building. We got Nonetheless. You appreciate stuff like that once you move to a higher class. But also, and that's where when things like that becomes entertainment. And so as we and as you try to maintain your business, you're going to need help for your business. And don't let these dudes trick you, telling you can't go over to China and have them help you. You can't go over to India, or have some European help you, or be your cameraman, or help you dissect your video if they're not going to do it. See, if they not going to do it, then hey, just like in matter of fact in America, especially on the West Coast, a lot of them always talking about the Mexicans taking all the job. They ain't taking nothing you ain't gonna do. You see what I'm saying? If we ain't gonna do it, we got Doug in the building. What's up, Doug, man? How you doing, man? Oh yeah, shout out to the one brother. Shout out to the brother Young Farah. One of the brothers sent me a video. The brother's talking about getting some communication towers. He was saying Young Farah was talking about getting a website where people can go in, they can log in, and they can see the stuff. It was kind of pretty much the same thing we doing. Shout out to that brother for coming into the light. But understand, your brother, you're gonna need some help. And chances are these underworld, underbelly dudes is not going to help you. You're gonna have to venture out to your communists, or whatever the hell they call them, or the fucking Russians or Europeans. You're gonna have to venture out because it's gonna get lonely when you need some help, and the brothers around you is not gonna give you any. So you got two choices. Either you're gonna maintain and stay in the underworld, or you're gonna break those barriers and dig your way up out of there, and come back, help the people, or, do what you can for the people. That should be natural. Now, a lot of these dudes, we already know what it's like when y'all get money. You know, um, we already know. And it's not to lump brothers in the same situation, but, we have something to go off of. Like, especially brothers on the East Coast, we seen y'all get money. We know what y'all do when y'all get money. And y'all ball hard over there. Y'all get, y'all got baseball teams, y'all got, wine, beer, clothing lines when y'all get money. We also know what it's like when some of the brothers in the South get money. When they get money, they buy their little studios, they got their little cars, you know what I'm saying? They venture off, do little businesses, real estate on the West Coast. We know what it's like when y'all get money too. We seen that. Y'all buy y'all little properties, having a long time ago, they bought like a pool table, and you know, consumers. Even when you get money, you're a consumer. Okay. $7,000, we could have manufactured those pool tables. You consumers. Now, I'm not saying people ain't doing nothing good. People ain't not talking about that. I'm saying you ain't never seen a brother like me with money. And there's a you about to. Members of the 5,000 Elite, digital, logical. Shout out to everybody. Back, bro. Like y'all go back to a long time ago, no sound and shit. I'm like, bro, I've been in for an hour of that. Like, no, like when I first man, the legs go there too, but we out here, man. We out here. There we go. There we go. Yeah, scale your business. Okay. I know it's cool to run man band, but one man can only do as much as you can. You're gonna have to scale your business. If scaling your business means going out there and hiring you some agents or getting you some agents, if scaling your business mean going out there and having some Europeans help you with some finances or whatever, do it. Do it with no questions asked. Because trust me, ain't nobody else. If they ain't not gonna help you, chances are they probably not. Now, if you lucky enough to get that help, then from brothers and sisters, that's cool. But if you're trying to scale your business, do it. You venture out there in the real world and you scale your business and you move up to a different class. You move up. Okay? You move up and you keep moving up. Don't put a cap on anything you do. One man got a cap. And I mean, like, for example, when you got a business, or let's say, for example, when you work for somebody, there's only a certain amount of much money you can make per hour. It's a cap on how much money you can make. But when you're doing business for yourself, you don't have a cap. You can be a zillionaire if the situation is right. There's no cap on what you can do. And everything we do here at the 5,000 Lead, there's no cap on it. The only cap is how much we can do. That's it. That's it. How much we can do. And so scale your business up. If you gotta hire you a little non-speaking English speaker, if you gotta hire whoever or whatever, do it. Trust me, it'll pay off. And when you get to a certain stage, you come back and you lay down, because I'm trying my best to lay down my little groundwork for the people that comes after me. Like you seen a little video when the young brother, young Pharaoh, said, man, we finna get some communication towers. Man, we finna get our own cell phones. Man, we finna get a website. We finna do it and blah, 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 blah. Now, I'm not saying that has something to do with me, but I feel good about it because I know, for example, I know for 100%, I've been pumping that energy out there for a long time. So whether he don't even know who I am, never even seen my videos, just my energy out there caught wind. And so that's some of the little characteristic things you can do that tells a lot about a person, or where a person mindset is. Little bitty tiny little things you'll never even notice. But I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, man. Sorry, everybody came in when I was on my way out. This always happened. Like my last little 10 minutes, everybody come in. I'm like, man, I'm mad. But shout out to everybody, man. We out here, you know. We ain't going nowhere. And I'm gonna try my best to be at least once a month. At least once a month. And I failed last month. I didn't make it. But I made it March. So if I don't see you back, then I see you probably April. April, at least I'll be back. Numbers ain't changed, information ain't changed, name ain't changed. I'm still the same little weird ass little cousin from Minnesota. I'm still here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Peace.